Okay, this video is fixing to get really serious. It might be too much, especially for some of the newer subscribers who really don't know what's going on. Nonetheless, if it confuses you, you can always ask questions. If you don't understand it, simply put it on the shelf. It'll make sense later. Once you've gone through the material, if you've been with me for a while, this is going to make perfect sense to you. But I'm going to try to come at this every possible way so that you see it from every aspect. It's like going around the cube. You have to have 6 different perspectives to really understand a cube. Just a simple dice. It's 6 sides. Each face has a different pattern. Okay? Keep that in mind as we go. Now, I want you to keep in mind, the Mayan calendar. It's really Aztec, but to keep from people having a breakdown, it's Mayan, okay? That's just what everybody calls it, so that's just what I'm going to refer to it as. But it is definitely Aztec. Now, it has 2 calendars built into one. Let me pull up a picture. There are different representations of it. This type is more Aztec, to where this is more Mayan, but this comes from this. Well, you have 2 calendars here. You have what they call the Hob, right? The Hob. That's the inner circle. And then you have the outer circle, which is called the long count calendar. Okay? Now, our heavens work this way. Let me take us back. There are 2 things happening in the heavens simultaneously. The sun, we move through day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, aeon by aeon, this way, as we watch the sun go around. But that's from our perspective. Now, from the sun's perspective, he's going this way. He's the long count calendar. When you read, if you read him forward, you're reading the short story, the condensed version, what really affects us, how we can, what you would call more mundane. But the long count calendar, that's the big picture. And right now, normally that calendar really doesn't matter in our day-to-day lives at all. Not until you get ready to change an age. And then, boy, does it really matter. And you need to know what's going on. Because what's occurring when you change ages is you're changing gods. That's what we call it here. Now, I'm going to teach you the alchemical terminology. Like when they say the word God, they're talking about an element. There are 4. We've been through this. Let's do it again. You have 2 masculine gods. And they are called fire. And they are called air. Probably should have done fire in the yellow, but for safety's sakes, fire is yellow, it's masculine, and red is air, and it's masculine, and it's red. So these are the 2 fathers. You hear the in the New Testament, Christ is arguing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and he's telling them, if you were Abraham's seed, you would be doing what Abraham did. You are not Abraham's seed. Your father was a murderer from the beginning. So they're telling you there are 2 different fathers. And there they are. They are fire and air. Okay? Now we also have 2 mothers. And they are water and earth. You're either born of the water or you're born of the earth. Now, the way they bibble babble the scriptures, and this is done in every culture. You literally, unless you know alchemy, you can't go, you're going to get the same falsified information in other traditions, because this shit is hidden within it. And it's doing it using symbology. But what this symbology is a language within itself. It's like hieroglyphics. Now, let's talk about language for just a minute. Because one, language is important to understand this, and symbolism is important to understand this. Languages. We have really 3 languages. You have what we call Western languages and Eastern languages. They're divided into 2. But actually there's 3, because you have the transition between the 2. In Western, we have what they call Greek block letters. The Viking runes, the Greek block letters, the Mesopotamian. It was very sharp. It didn't have any what you call fire languages, or the curvy, or the circular languages, the feminine. You have the masculine and the feminine. Now, we know that Arabic or Aramaic is older than Greek. It's a pure feminine fire language, which is funny that we do that. We say feminine fire, when in all actuality, and the fire looks feminine. It dances like a snake, but it's ruled by the masculine essence. That's really strange. Just like we have water, we're in water world now, but we're ruled by a patriarch. Now, there are transition between these. In my understanding and what I've learned and uncovered in my time here in my studies, is Hebrew is a transition between a fire Aramaic and a Greek block letter, Western tradition, because it has both. It has the masculine and the feminine. Some of the letters are curvy and some of them are straight. In English, we've divided the 2. You have the Western uppercase letters and the feminine lowercase letters. And then you have pre-Aramaic. Aramaic comes from Punjabi and Sanskrit, and these even older. Now, actually, you go from Sanskrit to Punjabi to Arabic is closer to Sanskrit, the one with the lines under it. When you start having the block and the curvy, you're seeing a mixture of masculine and feminine. That's a transition language. That's a mutable languages. Languages are broken into 3. Mutable, fixed, cardinal. Mutable, it's a blending. Fixed, it's stable. It's a perfect language. But cardinal is when it really starts to, a language starts to manifest itself in culture, like English has all over the world. And it's got both, right? Uppercase, lowercase. We use the first letter. If it's uppercase, it makes it a title. A person, place, or thing. A noun, a proper noun. It makes it a proper noun. If it's lowercase letters, then it's just text. It's feminine. So English is a transition language. It tells you where we're at and where the languages are going. To control the languages are very important because the mouth can only make 72 sounds. And the Bible Babble uses that against us. Like the B, the P, the V, they're the same. Ba, pa, va. The mouth does the same thing. But it's the vowels. That's the secret to it all. It's the vowels where languages are concerned. Knowing that as a language moves from feminine to masculine, it flips. Just like Thalem, you take away the vowels, is the same as Fomalhaut. take away the vowels and rearrange the letters. It's the same thing. They're all the same, and they're all in 3. So they're basic. All gods are triune. There are 4. All gods are triune. They have 3 parts. Water, fixed mutable cardinal. Liquid, frozen solid, and gaseous vapor. And that's Pisces, liquid. Mars in Scorpio, frozen solid. And then cardinal, vapor. So all elements have 3 states of matter. So this is a language of nature. It's just sometime long ago, you have to dumb it down. A physicist can't talk to a kindergartner in his terminology. You got to dumb it down for the plebs or the uneducated or whatever you want to call them throughout the eons. And so it became split. It splits. The language is split. I don't even think the priests did it. I think they took advantage of it to manipulate. The priests were in control of the scribes, and they controlled. Whoever controls the script controls everything, and they know this. That's why they control all the airwaves, the narrative. They must control the narrative. It's just like Ebonics. Ebonics in the United States took off naturally. It was just something that occurred among the tongues of wherever you lived. And it became fad and tradition and culture, and it evolves the language, or it transmutates the language. Now, the media, Hollywood, the music industry, TV, they took over that. And they started shazizzling anything they wanted to in there. So it's no longer natural. It's no longer just evolving in cultures by the ways that we live. And the ways that we live are in accordance with the elements. It's like I've told you, the weatherman freaking don't know shit. Get you an Indian rock. Don't know what an Indian rock is? It's an Indian weatherman. Is this Indian rock that you sit outside your door, and it never lies to you. You can open your door and look at the rock. If it's wet, it's raining. If it's dry, it's sunny. Now, it's the same as looking up at the sky, but it's to make you see that we don't, everything through the media is a lie. It's a narrative. It's a story. It's a Greek comedy tragedy. They're the same thing. The comedy and the tragedy is the same thing. And we're in the middle of those two. We've moved from the comedy to the freaking tragedy. But then in the end, you all laugh about it, right? Well, it's not funny to everybody. Only those in the know is it funny. To the others, it's a tragedy. So now, what I really want to talk about, the long count calendar going this way tells one story. The hob going this way tells another story. Now, you'll find this in every culture. There's always 2 stories. People can't figure that out. Actually, there's 3 stories. Like the Hebrew story that transitions you from the feminine language to the masculine languages. That translates you from the feminine gods to the masculine gods. Okay? And then keep in mind, this priesthood, this Babylonian priesthood, that's what they are. That's, as we know them, this is their original titles. And as they move through the ages, they just keep changing their titles, their clothes. They take on the appearance of the gods of the next age. They're all imposters and they're all wearing masks. And all they want to do is stay rich, not work. They know if we ever figure all of this out, they're done. Well, we all are going to figure it out. As we move into Aquarius, they know, one, they no longer have power. None. And you have, Each zodiac, let me get a real zodiac up here. One I can kind of doodle on. Now, each god is triune. Let's start with the god we're dealing with now. We are in an age of mutable water. Water, in one story, it's the abyss. Okay? So, and there are 3 parts to that abyss. Abyss means liquid. It's watery. You have the abyss of fire, or liquid fire. That's Sagittarius. Okay? So we're in the abyss. You have Pisces with Scorpio with Cancer. This god has 3 faces. He has the face of a fish, the face of an eagle or scorpion, but traditionally, the old traditions, you're going to have to let those 2 be either one. And the moon. It's the moon. A beehive is also, you have to know the symbolisms that are used around the world in the names of the stars, like Gemini. Gemini is part of this age. This is the triune god of water. On top of this triune god of water, we have the mutable cross. Let me change colors. Let's do a green. You're going to have Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini. So this is the 7-headed beast that comes up out of the sea. Okay? And this beast worships the god of forces. In the book of Revelations, this whole shebang right here worships what they call the god of fortresses. That's how it's translated in the King James, or authorized. But in the Strong's Concordance, that is the god of forces. Okay, the god of forces is, don't do that. Why is it doing that? Let me pause. Okay, I just lost my thing, so let's do the Pisces, Virgo. This is the 4. And then the 3-headed beast, the 3rd head. No, that's Gemini. So you have this 7-headed beast that comes up out of the sea. And then you have the god of forces, which is fire and water. That constant battle that we do over. Let me do just one big one. Let me erase that. Let's do this again. You need to know the symbolisms of these 4. Gemini, the unicorn. Anubis, Osiris, is part of Gemini, not really part of Taurus. Osiris is like a transition god. He's going to have some of Gemini and some of Taurus. But the rainbow, the unicorn, all that's Gemini. The rider on the horse, Sagittarius. The fire, the mutable fire, like liquid volcano, right? Mutable fire, the lake of fire, Sagittarius. He's the centaur. He's half man, he's half horse. He's the hunter. He's the bowman. Virgo, she's, the star in Virgo is Spica. That's the maiden. They always argued about the translation from the prophecy of the Old Testament of the virgin that gave birth. When Spica doesn't mean virgin, it just means young maiden. And of course, Virgo did give birth to a son that was snatched up to Gemini. Mercury rules both. He's both. Each god has, each planet has a masculine and a feminine. So we have the cross, we have the element that we're dealing with in this age, which is Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. And then we always, regardless, have the 7 planets that go around. That you're not going to read about. You can't trust any information as far as tradition is concerned where Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are concerned, because it's not there. It's all brand new. It's all less than 200 years old. You can only look at the alchemical information, the elemental information, the state of it, fixed, mutable, cardinal, and understand they're beyond Saturn. They're beyond the crown chakra. It's our conscious mind. Now, we're fixing to have a change of gods. The gods are fixing to change. And everything's going to change. I can't wait myself. I'm really excited to see all this play out. But it's no fun to watch a great epic event if you don't have anybody to watch it with, if nobody but you understands what's going on. And so I'm just putting this out there and sharing. I do not care if you agree with me or not. But all things in threes. If you can't see it's even ourselves, right? We're adolescents, we're adults, and then we become elders. We have 3 stages in our life. All of this is within us when, like all these volcanoes going off, when all the planets gathered into Capricorn, and they gathered on the cardinal cross. It was fire and earth. So that Mars was in his own house. So, and he's the top dog right now because of the symbolism of the Chi-Rho. He's the actual big dog in charge in this age. Over Pisces. We didn't even get to that. But I'm moving you to understand the difference between the 7-headed beast, the 10 horns, right? Because more comes into play in this story. But they just, again, horns are powers. If you don't know, you have crowns and you have horns. A messenger already, he has the authority of messenger. But even this in 3, it's the 3, they've made it the 3 sticks instead of the cross. Everything is done by symbolism. So as we move into this next age, this is not just happening in the heavens and in the earth. It's happening within us as peoples. And it's going to affect peoples in different ways because there are 12 different kinds of us. And in 3 different states. It's 36. And everybody's is in a different place. My Venus and Moon is in Aquarius. My Uranus and Pluto is in Leo, opposite each other. So we're all at different, we can't all sit in the front row on the roller coaster. Let's go there. Let's do this linear. This is why I came here, because I want to show you, this is going to be my linear zodiac here. Let me get you a color. Can I get red? I want you to see the zodiac in a linear fashion, right? We have the sun and the moon out there whirling, and all the planets whirling around in one direction on the hob. They're going in one direction. We see them going this way. In all actuality, the whole system is clicking back this way. But there's a third, right? We have to have that third perspective. So let's get into the linear perspective of it all. and it'll help you to see things in a little different way. So we're going to call this point right here the spring equinox, okay? And we're going to run it all the way over here to a 360-degree point. We're just going to cut the Mobius strip, lay it out, and so you can see in a different way. So right now we are, if this is the spring equinox, it's hard, we would have to go Pisces, Aquarius. That's long count. To go from left to right, from left to right is the long count. I'm teaching you how to read here. You need to learn how to read this stuff. So, but from right to left, which is feminine, is the Hob. It's the daily mundane count. It's the Hob. So that would put Pisces here. Looking at it going this way, the way we read the zodiac, going to the left, Pisces is here. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. So you start Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio. And you go this way. This is our long count calendar. You got to know what you're looking at. Now let's do it. Let me erase this right here. I want to use this space. All right. Now here's the symbolism. You need to learn this over and over and over till you've got it memorized. It's like you remember in your elementary school and you had to write your times table 1 through 10, 10 times each. Right? You know what I'm saying. So Aquarius, fixed. It's fixed. It's on the fixed cross and it's fixed air. So air, and the symbol for fixed is the cross, is the Tau. So let me do it the other way. I'll put the element on the top, and I'll put its state on the bottom. It's cross, right? It's cross. Y'all bear with me here. I had somebody send me a really nice tablet. Actually, I've had 2 people send me really nice tablets. The first one was just weird. I don't even know what to say about it. There's no way I could have used that. It was unbelievable at what they expected you to do. But the second one is really nice, and I'm hanging on to it. But I can't get the drivers for the Windows 7. I have to get some Windows 10 7 drivers for it, or find a way to get a Windows 10 OS on a different machine, and then I can access that very nice tablet. Okay, Aquarius, air. That's exactly the symbol right there, and its color is red too. Oh, I need to be back on my brush. I'm erasing. Air, and it's on the cross, fixed. Capricorn, it's cardinal earth, so it's earth, and it's cardinal. Sagittarius is fire, and it is mutable. Scorpio is water, and it is fixed. Now, let me stop right here. Let's get a blue color. This is the first set. I'll quit. Brush. No, I will. That color. This is the first set. It didn't do it for me. And it is called an aeon. You have one set of earth, water, air, fire, and that's called an aeon. One block, one square, one age, that's just an age. It's just a house. One constellation is simply a house or an age. Through scriptures, they hide it and call it a world. They don't call it an age, they call it a world. And in English, when we hear the word world, our mind is hearing earth, when earth is not the world. A world is an age. The earth is an element. So, then the next block, we have Libra, which is air again. And it's cardinal. You see, they're going to start to make a pattern. When you do this, it just keeps going around itself. You're going to start to see the pattern. This is what I want you to teach your brain to do, is see the patterns. And then there's really no such thing as prophecy. Like, how did I know the earthquakes were going to go off like this? And how long will this last? I haven't answered that, but I'm fixing to. Because all the planets gathered on the cardinal cross. Wow, that's heavy. But Mars was in his own house on that cardinal cross, and so was Saturn, earth, and fire. And that just triggers volcanoes. You need to know what the element feels like. When I tell you, okay, we're in Pisces and Virgo. We're on the feminine axis of the mutable cross. We're in the abyss at the lowest freaking point you can possibly get. And they've turned us in upside down, dead in the water world. That's water and earth. When you mix water with earth, you get mud, okay? But in this case, it's like standing on the beach. You're at the beach in the shoreline, and the waves are coming over and they hit your feet. Over time, each wave that comes in, you start sinking. The abyss takes you. The water has the power over the sand of the sea. But if you were at a rocky shore, right? You build your house on the rock. You're on a rocky shore. You have cardinal earth under you, under your feet. Cardinal earth and water. That's the ocean on a rock. That's Cancer, Capricorn. That's cardinal. A good fixed is where you have, well, actually a rock would be more Aquarius, to where cardinal would be a bulkhead, right? It's that ultimate achievement to where the earth meets the water. You have a bulkhead, and so they both have their own space. I don't mean to confuse you. I know that's hard to wrap your mind around. You might have to listen to it a few times, take your own notes, make your own graphs. Graphs help a lot. Let's keep going. Virgo. She's earth. And she's mutable. And these are the two most prevalent symbols that should be used in this age, but they're not. Again, they're corrupting it all. Leo is fire, and he's fixed. Cancer is water, and it's cardinal. So, let me do one more. Let's do this one in green. Gemini is air. Gemini is mutable. Taurus is earth. And Taurus is fixed. Aries is fire. And Aries is cardinal. Pisces is water. And Pisces is mutable. So, we go, and it stays the same. The pattern's the same. Fixed, cardinal, mutable. Fixed, cardinal, mutable. Fixed, cardinal, mutable. Each of these are an aeon to complete a cycle. Each one has a heaven and an earth. So when you talk about, and there was no more heaven and no more earth, for all the old things had passed away, and God made all things new. For I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That you're not just moving through an age. You're from age to age. We are moving from aeon to aeon. So what is occurring is the short count calendar, the long count calendar, and then the super aeon calendar. We're seeing all three, and you can see it here clearly. We're not just changing ages, we're changing aeons. We go from Taurus, Earth, and Gemini. Actually, this Earth is Virgo, and this age, this Earth, the cross we're on is Virgo. So we're actually in this age. We're in the last one over here. In the short count calendar, we're in the last of it. But in the long count calendar, it's just the beginning, going this way. That's why the end is the beginning, because it's a circle. But to really understand the circle, you have to see it in a linear fashion. Did anybody just understand what I did? Okay, let's look at the three aeons. They begin and end with the fixed cross in Aquarius and Scorpio. So this is the fixed aeon. This one begins with air. Begins with cardinal and ends with cardinal. So the next one is the cardinal aeon that comes after this one. And then we have one that begins and ends mutable, which is the one we're actually in now, or fixing to leave. So, and we're at the point where everything is sand under our feet. Everything that's built in our time is built with what's called concrete. And to have concrete, it's made with sand. We're on the sand, and we're sinking, and we're dead in the water, and we're in the abyss, and we're in an upside down world. We're in a feminine water world that's being ruled by masculine fire, and is not even supposed to be here. But all that's fixing to change, and we're going to come to a stable aeon, one that will begin and end. The first two ages are going to be one age. These two symbols will be one symbol. You want to know what symbols to use? These right here. All of these. The old symbols, the symbols from over here, they have to go. No more fire, no more water, no more mutable. Mutable cardinal. We're going to fix cardinal. Because this guy shouldn't have been playing. He shouldn't be in the game. He's part of this priesthood that has hijacked it since here. This was the hijack. It happened on the fixed cross. The flood happened here. Then Mercury came in Gemini, and they remapped the world. And they repositioned the gods. Right? Everything. They divided it all up. It's time for transmutation. It's an age of transmutation. And an aeon, not just an age, 4 ages of mutable. Of being beginning and ending with transmutation. So this is the biggest change. and we're at the end of it. It's the biggest jump because we're going to go from here all the way over here. Do you see it in a linear fashion? Because we're going to the left, in our daily mundane lives. Does any of this make sense to you? I hope so. See if anything else I want to cover before I get out of here. Well, yeah, that question I haven't answered yet, which is how long is it going to last? So we had all of the planets right here. Sun, moon, every freaking body was here. Neptune was in Aquarius and Aries and Uranus. Mars and Uranus were in Aries when I said that earthquake uptick. Major earthquake uptick. And how long is it going to tick? There are two answers to that. Usually it's 6 months because the way the earth wobbles from the northern to the southern hemisphere between winter and summer, the weight shifts and it takes pressure off one side and it releases, but it builds pressure on the other side. So until the planets all gather up like that on a different cross, then this will continue. It'll just be 6 months over here pressure, 6 months over there pressure. You have to watch the patterns and what's going on here and understand what age we're in, what age we're going to. But we have these, we're a water age being ruled by a fire god. We're just mutable water. We're just mutable water bags. Our god of this age was supposed to be Virgo. It was supposed to be the young woman, the maiden, not the virgin, the maiden. The maiden, the young woman, is the savior of this age, and her color is black. Her symbol is the Madonna, and they've exploited that in every way possible. Know your colors, know your symbols, know your mythos, know your fables. Myths and fables are far more true if you understand this alchemy. It's like I told you, Moby Dick is set up as a religious book for the next age so they can hijack it. They call me Ishmael.